So yesterday I bought the garden hose and I bought this really handy trolley so I can pull it all over the property because I have my compost bin there, which sometimes needs to be watered, and then I'm going to put my vegetable garden over here. So I wanted the trolley for sure, and this handy little wrappy thing so I don't have to deal with kinks in the hose and dragging it everywhere and whatever. The problem is I can't use it just yet because I didn't realize that this hose has to, in order to wind it, has to connect to the tubing system that is part of the unit itself. So right here is where you would connect another hose attachment that comes from your water main. And, well, this is our hose attachment. As you can see, it's a faucet. So I actually purchased everything properly to hook it up directly to here, but didn't realize that in order to wind it, I would need to connect it to the trolley. And the trolley needs, so I need another hose, basically, and the proper attachment, because these hoses, the way they sell hoses here, they're cut. They're just like raw edge. So I had to get this attachment, and then in order to use this attachment, and another attachment on the other side in order to attach it to here, or even to here. And of course I needed that hoodie too. So I have to buy another hose and another attachment. Now, this guy is pretty long, so I can kind of drag this around, so I'm thinking nope, I'm still probably going to need a good decent amount of hose to connect to here if I'm planning to move this trolley far from this location. So I'm going to need another hose basically.
So the lessons I learned about canning is do not attempt to do it without the proper equipment. I'm not in the market for a pressure canner at this point in time. I'm sure there are a lot of you out there who swear by them. I understand that it's more of a guaranteed seal or a safer precaution to make sure that your food will not spoil and that you do definitely get a very good seal on your stuff. But I'm more into the old-fashioned way of canning because that's the way I grew up. The problem is I don't have a deep pot. I used the deepest pot that I had, and I was a little unsure about whether or not it was going to actually seal my jars because the water didn't cover the screw lids. And I was like, this is probably going to fail. Not only did it not cover the lids, but it also overflowed all over my stove. If you know anything about gas ranges, is that if any one of those wicks, starters, sensors, I don't know what you call the things that actually tell whether or not your burner is hot and on or whatever, if it gets wet, the entire stove won't work until it dries. So there I was on a hot stove attempting to sop up as best as I could all of the hot scalding water that had just overflowed from my pot, and use my hair dryer in order to dry those parts in the burners so that I could quickly get my fire back and hopefully not lose too much temperature range in my pot so I can continue the process of hot water bathing them. And let's just say it was bad. I was only able to do 2 jars at a time, which is really good that I started from a very small canning capacity. I did not choose to do much more than I think I had 5 jars. It seems not even worth it probably to some people who have larger families and have vegetables coming from your garden, and so you have more of it and you need to can more of it. I don't. Personally, this was just an experiment for me, an experiment gone wrong. Well, I say that it's an experiment gone wrong, but guess what? Every single one of those lids took. Every single one of them sealed. So let's take a look at them and watch over them, I guess, for the next several months to a year and see if they keep. See if we eat them before a year. Hopefully we will. So you can say lesson learned. Look what Mama bought! Ciao!
Now you might think it's just foggy outside. In fact, it doesn't even show very well on this camera. But it is extremely smoky. It's not fog, it's smoke. Oh, I know. One of the downsides to living in the country is that the farmers burn all of their extra brush. There are fires going constantly if it's not windy. It's funny because he was outside and earlier I was thinking the same thing. They look like ashtrays. How does he know they're for cigarettes? They're not for cigarettes. These are my glass weights for fermenting foods. But they do look like ashtrays. And he called it too. So this is not the first time that I have fermented garlic. I have fermented garlic in the past in our old home and it came out wonderful. I absolutely loved it. So this time I'm going even bigger. So I purchased some wide mouth jars and also the fermentation glass weights that hold the garlic or any vegetable that you're planning to ferment, holds it down beneath the top surface of the water. The goal is that with the fermentation process, you want the vegetables to remain completely below the top water level so that you can avoid contamination. Every day you need to burp your jar to let any gases and such things out. Let it breathe really quickly.
close it shut and just put it in a nice, warm, dark place. Garlic takes a little bit longer than other vegetables to ferment. Usually it's about 1 to 2 months before it's at a good level of fermentation to where you want to use it. And in that case, you can just keep it in your fridge and it will last a very long time. To me, it's similar to the way olives are usually kept in jars of brine. I love fermented garlic. One of the best health attributes of fermented garlic is that for people who love the taste of garlic, I mean, let's face it, it's very high in antioxidants. It is very good for you. But some people have a little bit less of a tolerance to its toxicity. There are parts of garlic that can be toxic to people, especially those with sensitive tummies. I do have gastrointestinal issues, so I've stopped consuming raw garlic, and it is one of my favorite things to eat. I love raw garlic, but I have since stopped consuming it. We still use it to fry up in our oil, in our olive oil, a little bit prior to making our pasta sauce, because I just can't get rid of the taste of. I love garlic. I have to have it in just about every food item that I make. But fermented garlic will remove a lot of that strong, potent toxicity that some people don't fare well with. And the fermentation actually adds good, healthy gut probiotics. So the fermentation process is adding something else to the fermented garlic that is making it easier for your body to digest. Hope I got all that information correct. But at least you will be free of vampires. So I had these leftover pieces of wood from the mud boot rack project. And I thought it was quite ironic when I went into the hardware store. The gentleman said, let's get this as accurate as we can in terms of our cuts. And I told him, oh, do not worry. I can use any extra wood. He didn't realize who he was speaking to. I literally can reuse anything. Crafting is my specialty. It is my favorite pastime. And I found just the perfect project for these wood blocks. I literally turned them into hand-painted Santa Claus and Snow Buddy. And I even hand knit a scarf for my little snowman. I think they came out lovely. So one of the things I purchased for my stairs today are these super cute baskets. And their purpose is to do this. So for instance, those are my son's pajamas that he wore only one night, last night after having taken a shower, so we're gonna wear them again tonight. But he gets changed in the morning downstairs after he's had his breakfast. So I just put them in his basket and it's ready to be taken up with me at the end of the night when we get ready for bed again, along with any miscellaneous toys or random objects that he leaves laying around the house. For instance, you may or may not know, my kid is obsessed with light bulbs. That is his toy of choice. So literally he has the hugest collection of light bulbs, all different kinds, but I find them literally laying all over the house. So guess what? Now I have a safe, cushy place to put them before we haul everything upstairs to put things away at the end of the day. Isn't that great? If you like my content, please hit the subscribe button. Your support keeps me going, and it means the world to me. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.